you. Thank you. Okay, now here we go. Srinivas, shall we start?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, let me start with the very basic. I want to give a history of TOGAF before I start further. Now, if you look around, so many frameworks are there. Because every IT organization needs an enterprise architecture. Getting it? Or every organization in the world, as of today, they have an IT department. Getting it? So because of that, you need to have an IT infrastructure in place. You need to have the IT, basically all the architecture in place. It is required. Because if you want to work efficiently without having a proper infrastructure, you cannot do that. Getting it? So what happened was, have you heard of Zachman? Anybody by name Zachman?
No, not really.
Okay, so here I'm typing on the chat also, Zachman. Now, what happened was, Zachman, he was working with IBM. Yeah, in 1984, I think so. Yeah, 84, 85, those years, he was working with IBM. So he was the first person who came out with the concept of enterprise architecture. Because he was a genius. What he felt was, we don't have things in perspective because we don't have a separate architecture in place. Or enterprise architecture not clearly defined. Getting it? So keeping that in mind, he was the first one who came out with the concept of enterprise architecture. Yeah. So also we have a framework called Zachman's framework. Okay. So likewise, so he was the first one who came out. Then what happened was, in 1991, the US Army did an architecture project. Getting it? And it was a huge success. And then what happened was, everything, the project related things was taken over by the open group. Getting it? And the open group took over. And from then onwards, TOGAF is handled by the open group. Yeah. So from 1994, I believe, so 1994 onwards, till this time, TOGAF has transformed a lot. So many changes have happened. Right? So we started with the US Army and now it is used across the globe. Okay. Now, coming back to TOGAF history, TOGAF started with the US Army. After that, what happened was, they had a challenge. Should we take it commercially? Because it is used for the US Army, there will be a concern relating to security and things like that. Should we take it commercially? Yeah. So it was a discussion, and so many experts in the field, they had a huge meeting there, and they finally decided to take it commercially. Yeah. And started with TOGAF version 1, and today we have TOGAF version 10. Okay. So many things have changed. Now, one more thing about TOGAF. TOGAF is the #1 architecture framework in the world. Yeah. Now, is it okay with you if I ask you a few questions in between? Is it okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, are you familiar with any other architecture framework?
I've heard, but as such, actually, I have really not gone into any of those in details. I have heard about a few others as well, but I just follow the generic method of kind of more of a UML driven approach of kind of architectural pattern, and till now that's what, as part of solution architecture, has been.
Thank you. Yeah. Can you access chat on this one? Chat?
Yes, it is very much. I saw your mapping. Yeah.
See on that. Okay. So fee of the framework, for example, TOGAF stands for Department of Defense Architecture Framework. Yeah. MODAF stands for Ministry of Defense Architecture Framework, UK. Yeah. So likewise, hundreds of frameworks are there in the world. Yeah. Now, the question is, which is the best framework for me? Yeah. So what happens is you get different types of clients for your architecture work. You have to decide on which is the best framework for the architecture work to be carried out. Getting it? For example, so let's consider Bank of America. Now I want to tell you, you work for Lloyd's Bank, right? Yeah. Even in Lloyd's Bank, I've trained so many people from your bank. Yeah. And I've done for MOV, management of values, TOGAF. I don't remember the names because it is, spread over the years. Yeah. So I've trained few people there. Now, MODAF is another one. The another one we have called FIAF. FIAF stands for Federal Enterprise Architecture Framework US. Yeah. So likewise, hundreds of architecture frameworks are there in the world. Now, the question, as I told you, is how do I know which is the best framework in the world? Or how do I know which is the best framework for my architecture I'm going to do? So the challenge comes where I have to decide on which is the best framework. So what happened was, over a period of time, so many years have passed by, so many organizations conducted study, research, and things like that. So finally decided TOGAF is the best architecture framework right now. Yeah, having said that, TOGAF can also be used with other framework, for example, FIAF, or DODAF, or things like that. Yeah, so you can combine it with other framework. Getting it? Yeah. So that is about TOGAF basic things. Now, coming back to the course, what we are going to cover, it is a 4-day actually, single person. It will take at least 25 to 30 hours. Yeah. And if it is a group of people, maybe 30 or 25 people, it will take more time. Right? Now, my experience, I can tell you a few things. One, please remember the TOGAF course, what I'm going to cover for you. It is basically meant for certification. Yeah. So many times, I've done it across the globe. So it is preparing people for the certification. That is the first step. Yeah. The second thing, once you finish with the certification, you make sure that you do a dummy project if possible, right? Or at least one dummy project, one or two, and that will be beneficial.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so that is required. Yeah, because
you will be giving the guidance throughout those.
We can look for some of the, maybe if you go to LinkedIn, there are so many organizations who will be helping you with that. Or maybe you can join a group. TOGAF groups are there, so many forums are there, and you can connect with people, and you'll get some connect.
Yeah, so you will be giving me the guidance for
that.
Yeah,
I'll help you with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but getting a project, maybe you have to search a little bit. Yeah. So that is there. Or if you have a project in your organization, you can start with that.
I have, but I would like to kind of do a separate one where we both can. I'll be doing it in sync with you in your guidance. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, doing a project, I don't know whether I get time in that for doing a project and sitting with you on that. And maybe I can guide you how to get some projects, things like that. Yeah, because there are so many forums. There are people available there. You can connect with them and do likewise. Getting it? Because every week, for example, next week, 2 trainings early morning, 4:30. I have an Australian batch. They have a UK batch in the afternoon. So that'll be quite hectic for me. Okay. But I'll guide you what to do and the forums involved. Getting it?
Yeah. At least I need kind of a collaborative team put me on that where I can work it out. And
okay. Yeah, like that. And okay, I can help you with the forums available there. So maybe you have to connect with those people. Yeah. And because the project wise, I'm not getting into, I'm not for example, groups, organization, I'm not connected with them for projects like that. And the only time I've connected with the organization was in Nigeria, basically, there's a First Bank. Yeah. And they did some projects. So I was very briefly involved. Yes, that was the one thing. Yeah. So anyway, let's look into that later. Now,
so real-time experience, for that actually we need a project, correct?
You need to do a project. Dummy project will do. You have to get a basic idea on that. So many people will do. And as I told you, there are so many forums available. You can connect and maybe connect with people and then find out. Okay.
Okay.
Now, TOGAF 9 training course. So this is the content. Let me give you some intro. Now here, if you look at that, we have around 700 slides. Yeah, 700 plus. Now, what happens is, as I told you before, if you go to any of the major universities in the world, they have something called Masters in Enterprise Architecture. Yeah, and the course duration will be maybe 1.5 years. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, whatever we do in few hours, maybe 25 hours or 30 hours, yeah, all this thing which people do in 1.5 years, I'm covering the similar topics for you, but we are doing it in 25 to 30 hours. Got it? Yeah. So it will be a fast track course. And also I'll be sharing the content with you today. Ganesh will be sharing with you. So I'll be sharing the content in 2 mails. One will be 9.2. The second will be 10. Okay. TOGAF 9.2 and TOGAF 10. Now, I want to show you the difference also between TOGAF 9.2 and 10. There's very little difference. Yeah. 90% of the things in TOGAF 9.2 and 10 remain the same. Yeah, 10% things have changed. I'll be telling you what are the changes they have done. And I got a PPT from the open group, yeah, for 10 as well. So I'll be sharing that also with you. Yeah. So what I noticed was in 10, whatever content they have shared, yeah, it is very, very fragmented, right? Everything is not given in a very detailed way. Yeah, anyway, we'll be discussing that. And having said that, please remember, we don't want to miss out on any topic. Yeah, so we will be covering everything for you. Got it?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so this is the 10 PPT actually. Okay, now I want to show you a few things. If you look at TOGAF 9.2, the PDF. Now I have a question here. How do you know what all I'm covering for you is right? How do you know?
Basically, there is as per the TOGAF this thing, they have a guideline what and all has to be covered.
Correct.
So yeah, those topics, each individual one has to be covered in depth and understood properly. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So have a look at this one. You see this on the screen, C220. Yeah, C220 is a document shared by the open group. Yeah, so anything what I cover in the class, it is available in C220. Getting it? So I'll be sharing that with you. Anything what I cover in the class, you can check in the PDF document.
Okay.
Getting it? Yeah. And let me show you that one. Yeah. You see this on the screen, C220?
Yeah, I can see that.
So this is how it looks like. Right? And so please remember, C220, whatever they provided to me, it is divided into 6 parts. Yeah. And when you go for exam, you'll be getting it in single part. However, as of today, they provided me in 6 parts. So I'll be sharing the 6 parts with you. Right? So what you see on the screen is this part 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Fine with you? So every topic we need for architecture, every topic we need for TOGAF, it is given here.
Okay.
Getting it? And the second thing, TOGAF 9.2, we used to use a document called, you see this on the screen, 182. Yeah, C182.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything what I cover will be part of the C182. Now, please remember, between C182 and TOGAF, the 220, only maybe 8% things are different. Remaining everything remains the same. Got it? Yeah. So what I'll be doing, I'll be starting it with 9.2 today, and I'll be telling you all the things I'm going to cover for you. It will be part of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever I'm going to cover for in the class, it is part of TOGAF 10 because ADM is very, very important for TOGAF. It is not very clearly given in 10.
Okay.
Getting it? So I want to make you understand better. So everything, whatever is required as per the topic will be covered. Okay. So I will be sharing the TOGAF 9.2 content with you, also 10, right? So you can refer the PDF here, 9.2 PDF as well as 10 PDF.
Okay.
Correct? Yeah. So whatever topic I cover in the class, it should be part of the PDF. It will tell you whether whatever I'm covered, the class is right or not. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that is your guide. Anything you have to look for, you don't have to look outside. You have to look into the PDF. Everything what I cover will be there. Fine with you?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Here we go. Now, and the course, let me tell you about the exam part. 2 levels in TOGAF, level 1 and 2. Now, please remember, level 1 and 2, the topic remains the same. Getting it? Whatever I cover in foundation level 1, even in level 2, the topic remains the same. Getting it? Only difference will be level 2 will be in detail. Getting it? Yeah. So please remember the same topic I'm going to cover for in level 1 and 2. Okay. Second one, and here we go. Let me tell you what the exam part. Have a look at this one. Level 1 exam. How the question comes is 40 questions will be there, multiple choice questions. Yeah. 60 minutes for the questions, and you have to score 24 out of 40 for a pass. Getting it? That means from the 40 multiple choice questions, every question will have 4 answers. You have to choose one answer in that.
Okay.
Got it? You're supposed to score 24 out of 40.
Got it.
Getting it? Second one, level 2 exam, it is 8 different scenarios will be given to you. And the paper will be for 90 minutes. Yeah. What you're supposed to do is 8 different scenarios. Every scenario will have a question below it. Yeah. Every question will have 4 answers. 3 answers will be correct. 1 answer will be wrong. Getting it? So you are supposed to choose the best answer. If you choose the best answer, you get 5 marks. Yeah. If you choose the second best answer, you get 3 marks. If you choose the third best answer, you get 1 mark. And the wrong answer, you get a 0. Getting it? And you're supposed to score 24 out of 40 for a pass.
Okay.
Got it? Is it clear about the exam?
Yeah. There is yeah, I understood. And is there any negative marking in first one?
No negative marking. No negative marking. So please don't leave any question blank because there's no negative marking. Make sure that you answer all the questions.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Fine with you. Now, second thing I want to tell you is, if you look at the level 2 exam, it is called open book exam. Level 2 is an open book exam. So what they do normally is, with the question paper, they will share the PDF with you. Yeah, the PDF you see on the screen. Yeah, similar to that, they share a version 10 PDF, C220 will be shared with you. Yeah, it will come as a link to the question paper.
Okay.
Yeah, so level 2, when you do, you have, it is an open book exam. You have to refer the PDF and answer it. Got it?
Got it.
Yeah, for example, let me show you. If you want to look for anything in the ADM, right? All the details of the ADM is given there. Yeah. If you want to look for any, information on ADM, the phases, everything is given there. Yeah. So level 2, you can refer the PDF, but the problem is everything comes with a catch. Yeah. You have only 90 minutes, and every question you get around 11 minutes. Getting it? Yeah. So please remember, you have a time limit for every question. So when in level 2, what you're supposed to do is, please do the simple question first, right? Then do the tough one. Getting it? If you find a question you're not understanding, it is a little tough for you, please ignore it and finish off the remaining and come back.
Got it.
Yeah. Having said that, please don't leave anything blank because there's no negative marking. Make sure that you mark all the answers.
Yeah, I understood.
Got it? Okay. So that is about the exam part 1 and 2, and level 2 is an open book exam. Okay. Now, coming back to the main course. Now, I have a question for you. If you look at TOGAF is called a framework.
Correct.
Yeah. So what do you understand by a framework? What is a framework?
Framework is basically a kind of fundamental principles included or combined with the certain standards, which will kind of give a guidance or set a governance for the overall development and delivery, or even design, development, and delivery of any product or project.
Thank you. Right? So if you look at a framework is something like what you call foundational structure. Yeah. Or you can call set of structures that can be used to develop an architecture. Yeah. So TOGAF framework, a framework can also be called maybe a conceptual structure, which can be used to develop an architecture, maintain an architecture, govern an architecture, and so many different ways. Also, a framework will tell you how can you develop the target architecture, or what are the things you can do to achieve your target. Getting it? Yeah. Also, a framework will speak about tools, right? Standards, and so many other things. Getting it? So TOGAF is a framework. Second one, if you look at TOGAF, it is a methodology. Yeah. For you to do an architecture, TOGAF is a methodology. Now tell me, what do you understand by methodology?
Methodology is a way of executing a specific project or which will kind of streamline the overall process.
Thank you.
Delivery.
Now, thank you. Very good. Now, if you look at the methodology, TOGAF tells you for you to develop an architecture, what is the method or what are the steps you can follow to develop it? Getting it? What is the method or the process I'm going to follow to develop the architecture? Yeah. For example, if you look at the screen, it is the architecture development method, which is used by TOGAF to develop the architecture.
Yeah.
Getting it? Yeah. So TOGAF is a framework, TOGAF is a methodology, and the third one, TOGAF is a best practice. Yeah. Now, what do you understand by best practice?
Best practice is always kind of a way where you can avoid the hurdles, which can be kind of avoided by following a certain sequence of steps or kind of processes, which are called as best practices.
Thank you. Now, if you look at the best practice, every organization, if you look at that, they will try to use the best. Okay, let me give an example for you. Now, in your organization you work for, do you have a security team?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Internal IT security, correct?
Yeah.
Now, similarly, if you look at the gate of your organization, they have a physical security team as well, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
Because they do want to ensure that there's no a kind of in the organization everyone follows a certain standard. That's the reason it has been set.
Thank you.
To avoid any kind of issues later.
Right. What happens is every organization, for example, has a physical security because that is the best way I can protect my organization and people, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. If you enter the organization, they check your badge, they check your laptop, they frisk you, they scan you. Everything is anybody entering the organization has to be a security check has to be carried out on them, correct?
That's right.
Getting in, because that is the best way I can protect my organization.
Yeah.
Getting in. I shouldn't let any intruders inside. I shouldn't let any people who create problem. I shouldn't let any of my opponents or competitors just entering the organization without permission. right? So I need a security team because that is the best way I can deal with it.
Correct.
Getting it? Now, similarly, you have a best way and also so many other different ways of doing it.
Agree.
Getting it? Some organization will say, we don't want a great security. We just have one person standing outside. That may not be very secure.
Correct.
Yeah. Some organization will say, we don't want to scan people, let anybody, we just look at the face and send them inside. And that can be risky. Getting it? What I'm trying to say, a single, not a single way, but so many different ways of doing the same thing. Yeah. But the thing is, every major organization or responsible organization will look for the best way of doing it.
Correct.
Getting it? Now, if you look at project management, yeah, are you certified in any project management frameworks?
No, I haven't.
Okay, for example, in UK, you have something called Prince 2.
I know, yeah.
Right? And in US, you have something called PMP. Right?
Yeah.
So if you look at Prince 2 or PMP, it contains all the best practices in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the best practices could be maybe risk management, change management, project management, so many different, best ways of doing things.
Agree.
Getting it? So if you look at TOGAF as well, we have so many best practices taken from across the globe. Yeah. Best practice is something which has been used by organization. They have repeatedly used it many times and it has given them a good output.
Yeah, that's right.
Getting it? So best practice is something which is already used by organization and it has given a good output. That is why you call it best practice, because it has been used and it has already given a good output.
That's right.
Getting it? Yeah. So that is about a best practice. In TOGAF, we have so many best practices. Okay. Now, as I was telling you, TOGAF is a best practice, TOGAF is a framework, and TOGAF is also a methodology.
That's right.
Got it? Yeah. So next one, I have a question for you. Any client who comes to for an architecture, right? Why will they come to you? For example, Srini is an architect, right? Why will any organization come to you? What is the reason?
They come to me to get their IT architecture in an orderly and seamless manner to be in place, so that actually their the actual expectation of the organizations are fulfilled in the best way possible, and also have the competitive edge at the situation of kind of it's a competitive market, so to kind of deliver the futuristic and projects. Considering all those things, they come to me to kind of design an architecture for them.
Thank you. Now, let me give an example for you. Bank of America, right? I'm not taking Lloyd's Bank. I'll keep it aside. Now, imagine Bank of America, right? So Bank of America comes to Srini and tells him, can you develop an architecture for the bank? Now, the question is, why don't they do it themselves?
They do, if they have architect in-house, they do kind of try to do that.
Very good.
They always try to kind of get an opinion, so that actually they do really kind of get an independent opinion and understand whether their systems or their infrastructures or the IT infrastructure is in par with the market expectations. So that's the reason they get it reviewed from third parties.
Thank you. Now, listen to me carefully. Like you said, if they have an internal team of architects, they can do the work.
Correct.
Yeah. And many organizations, internal architecture team. However, every organization doesn't have an internal architecture team. Yeah. For example, if you look at Bank of America, what are they specializing in? Banking, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And many times, if you are dealing with a certain domain, you don't want to maybe get into different domains. Yeah, you don't want to divert into IT or customer service, things like that. Getting it? Yeah, and many times they will go to a third party and tell them. For example, Bank of America may go to IBM and tell them, can you develop the architecture for the bank?
Yeah.
Fine with you? And the benefit is, if you look at that, many times they go to organizations which are maybe in a different country, for example, India, right? Or any other countries, say, so many different China or any other countries who can get it done for in a cheaper rate. Getting it? Yeah. So you go to a different organization and a country because of so many reasons. One, maybe you want to save some money. Second one, because that particular country offer, maybe better, efficient product.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third one, you have better resources available in that country than what you have with you. Getting it? So if you look at any client, they go to another client for project because it is beneficial for them in the long run. You have a better product, you have a quality product, you save so much of money and things like that. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Now, one more thing. Bank of America goes to IBM and tells them, can you develop the architecture for us? Now, what are they looking for? Is it the output of the project or outcome?
Sorry, could you repeat it? The
Sure.
last sentence.
Now, if Bank of America goes to IBM, right, what exactly are they looking for? Are they looking for the output of the project or outcome?
Output of the project?
Or
It's
outcome.
basically the outcome, overall outcome. What is it?
Fine. Now, very good. What is the difference between output and outcome?
Output is what you produce, and overall the outcome is the impact of that specific activity.
Thank you. Very good. Let me give an example for you. Imagine. So, do you know how to make a cake?
Yeah.
Now, if you make a cake, what all things you put in that?
Baking soda, kind of flour,
Thank
the
you.
all-purpose flour, little egg and sugar and flavor, some different ingredients basically.
Very good.
And,
Yeah.
Mix it well and make it bake.
Thank you.
Butter and all those. Yeah, that's a standard process. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Now, you will put some flour, maybe sugar, chocolate, essence, nuts, and things like that. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you do with all? You mix it all together and put inside the oven. Correct?
That's right.
Now, if you keep that in the oven for 40 minutes or 1 hour, what do you get after that?
Baked cake.
Very good. Yeah. So you put all the raw materials, mix it together and put inside the oven. Yeah. You get a cake after 1 hour. Now the cake, is it an output or outcome?
It's an outcome of the activity of bringing together all those ingredients and making it work.
Okay. Now, if you put all the ingredients inside that, the input, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And what you get after 1 hour is the cake, that is the output of that.
That's right.
Right? Now, if Srini is the cake, you get energy to do the work. Yeah, you feed your family member, they get energy to do different work, whatever they're doing.
That's right.
Right? So all the benefits you get by eating the cake, the energy you get, the work you carry out because of that is called the benefit.
Yeah.
Getting it? Yeah. So that is the outcome. Right? Output is the cake. The benefit you get from the cake is called the outcome. Got it?
Okay. Okay. Got it. Basically, the benefit out of the activity or thing is called cake. Okay. The outcome. Okay. I understood. No.
Now,
yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is every client comes to you for the outcome, not the output.
Got it.
Yeah. If somebody comes, if Bank of America comes to Srini and tells you develop the architecture for me, it is not the architecture per se what they're looking. Of course, they need the architecture. However, the benefit they get because of the architecture is what exactly they're looking for at the end of the day.
Yeah, understood.
Getting it? Yeah. So what are the benefits they get because of the architecture? Tell me, what all benefits can they get?
They can streamline their the IT infrastructure, the spending, their planning, and also kind of ensure that actually they have edge uh, over the competitors, and which will help them to kind of deliver their services quicker to the customer. So there's a big list, probably for even let's say disaster recovery. Many things can be achieved
Very
as
good.
part of outcomes. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Yeah. So if you look at that, because of the outcome, you have better return of investment possibly,
Yeah.
right? Better profitability, better efficiency in the organization. Yeah. Better digital transformation, better risk management, and so many other benefits. Getting it? Yeah. So any product,
Got it. Yeah.
you are looking for the benefits. So many benefits because of that. Yeah. So similarly, if you look at the architecture, it is the benefit that the client is looking for. Getting it? Now.
Similarly in architecture.
Yeah. Similarly in architecture, it is the benefit what the client is looking for.
Got it. Yeah.
Getting it? Yeah. Let's go back to some more details on that. Now, we are looking at enterprise architecture. Now, tell me, what do you understand by enterprise architecture? What is enterprise?
Enterprise is an organization where all the resources comes together to make or deliver a service by working in conjunction of all those resources. That can be considered as enterprise. Yeah.
Thank you. Now, enterprise, if you look at that, generally, or if you look at architecture, what they say is, yeah, enterprise is a collection of organization.
Correct. That's what they call, yeah.
Yeah, collection of organization that share a common goal.
Correct.
Getting in, for example, if you go to London, so many enterprises you will see. You will find Steven Enterprise, yeah, or Srini Enterprise, Reddy Enterprise, so many different enterprises.
Yeah.
Yeah. What exactly do they mean by enterprise is basically the business part.
Correct.
Getting it? Yeah. But technically speaking, what is an enterprise? Enterprise is a collection of organizations which share a common goal.
That's right.
Getting it? Now, coming back, so I'm going back to Bank of America. If you have to develop an architecture for Bank of America, please remember, it can be maybe a single module for a branch.
Got it.
Okay, for example, Bank of America has a branch in New York. It can be for a single module for a particular department in the branch. Getting it? Or your enterprise can be maybe architecture for the entire branch in New York.
Understand. It could be.
Or your enterprise can be, yeah, all the branches of Bank of America in the United States.
Yeah, I understand.
Or it can be all the branches of Bank of America across the globe.
Got it, yeah.
Getting it? So the enterprise will depend on the requirement of the, I'm talking about the architecture part, enterprise architecture. Enterprise basically can be a single branch or a module or all the branches, or can be all the organizations of Bank of America across the globe.
Got it.
Yeah, it will depend on the scope the client has and the requirement.
Got it.
Yeah, but please remember, basic definition of enterprise can be, it is a collection of organization that has a common set of goals.
Collection of organizations which has a common set of goals. Yes.
Correct. Yeah. One more thing I want to tell you. Whatever I speak in the class, 90% of the things you get for the exam.
Okay.
Getting it? For example, enterprise, it will come in the exam for you in level 1, you'll get this question.
Okay.
Getting it? Yeah. So whatever I speak in the class, it will be as per with the exam point of view as well. It will be preparing you for the exam.
Okay.
Yeah. And not only that, once we finish with the code, we'll do all the practices. We have level 1 practice, level 2 practice, everything will be doing. Fine with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, enterprise is done. Now, the second one, what do you understand by an architecture? What is an architecture?
Architecture is a kind of, you can say it's a kind of blueprint, which can be help you to kind of consider all your business requirements and try to fulfill in a form of a blueprint.
Thank you so much. Yeah. If you remember, we discussed an example of maybe constructing a house.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we discussed on the blueprint. So what you're telling is correct. Similarly, let me give one more example. If you want to manufacture a car, what do you do first? First, you have to design it and create a blueprint.
That's right.
Yeah. What happens if you manufacture a car without a blueprint? It can be a problematic car because maybe the tire should go below the, it should be down, it will come up maybe because the design or the blueprint you haven't done properly.
Yeah.
Getting it?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, architecture is very, very important. Now, technically speaking, how do you define an architecture? It can be maybe the structure of the components, how they interrelate to each other, the principles, the governing, everything is part of the architecture. Getting it? Or architecture can be maybe the fundamental concepts or properties of a system, right? Embodied in the relationship to each other, the principles, the design, the evolution, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or in simple terms, the structure of the components and the relationship to each other and the principles and governance, etc. You call that architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get into that later. So have a look at the enterprise and architecture as per TOGAF. Yeah. Is it clear with you?
Yeah. The relationship to each other. Yeah.
Now, I would ask you one more thing. Now, before you start an architecture work, few things are very, very important. Right? First thing is, you should know what is the mission and the vision of the organization. Yeah. What is the difference between mission and vision? I'm not talking about what you see on the screen, but generally, what is the difference between vision and mission?
Vision is kind of overall organization where it has to stand, or what is its intended, or what its goal is, and mission is kind of how do we achieve it, or kind of how do we break it down to make that vision happen.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. If you look at the vision, it is like a long-term goal.
Correct.
Right? But if you look at the mission, all the things we do on a day-to-day basis to achieve our goal.
Correct.
Got it? Now, please remember, before you start an architecture, you should know what is the mission of the organization and the vision, because whatever you do should align with the vision and the mission of the organization.
Got it, yeah.
For example, if you are doing an architecture for Bank of America, whatever you do should align with the vision of the bank and the mission. Getting it? Can I do an architecture for the bank without aligning with the mission and vision? No, I cannot. Because if I do that, it will not be useful for the bank. It will be something else I'm making.
Yeah, I understand.
Second one, okay. Second one, before you start an architecture work, you need to have an architecture board in place. Yeah, you know what's an architect? For example, in Lloyd's Bank, do you have an architecture board or do you have a governance team?
Yeah, it's always there.
It is there. Now tell me, what do you understand by governance?
Governance is a kind of set of must have or should have set of rules which has to be adhered to ensure to avoid the pitfalls and to avoid certain regulatory complaints and all which could be kind of lead organization to get into bigger problems. So the governance is ensure that those kind of checks and balances are in place.
Thank you so much. Let me give an example for you. Now, if you look at India, how long you are, when did you move to London?
I came just on 2 days back.
2 days back, really? Okay. So where were you in India, by the way?
Bangalore.
Bangalore. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Where in Bangalore?
Banashankari.
Oh, really? Okay. Good. So 2 days. Okay, very good. Now, if you look at India, every state in India has a governor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you basically from Bangalore?
No, I'm from Shimoga.
Now, every state in India has a governor. Similarly, if you look at US, every state in the US has a governor.
That's right.
Yeah. Do you have governors in UK as well? Yes.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what is the function of a governor?
That helps, that ensures that it's a seamless working of different societies or people together to achieve a common good for everyone. So the governance will be facilitating that.
Thank you. Very good. Now, every governor, the job of a governor is to make sure that everything is done in a fair manner, everything is going right, people are following the rules, the ethics and everything is followed in the right way, and the parliament is functioning right, things like that. Because you have certain policies in the state, certain rules to be implemented, things like that. Yeah. So the governor's job is to make sure that everything is done in the right way. Getting it? Yeah. Similarly, if you look at architecture, before you start an architecture work, you need to have a governance team in place.
Correct.
Getting it? Yeah. You can call it architecture board or a governance board, whatever you want, you can call it. However, it is required for any architecture work.
Agree.
Getting it? So did you get that? So before you start an architecture work, you need to have an architecture board in place.
Correct.
Now, what does the architecture board do? They will manage you, they will control you indirectly and make decisions for you.
Yeah.
Getting it? Yeah. Now tell me, what happens if I do architecture work without a governance team? What happens?
It may not be kind of covering all the key aspects, and you can think that what we have done is the best, but probably that's a forum or a platform where you really can really introspect and or kind of present and discuss and kind of come up with a much better solution or approach to the problem solving or the problem in hand. That's
Thank you.
The forums are required.
Very good. Now, please remember, we have a separate chapter about governance. I'll be covering everything in detail, but I want to tell you, every architecture project you do, you need to have an architecture board in place, because without somebody controlling you, everybody will start doing whatever they want.
Correct.
Right? The governance, a good example of governance can be compliance.
Yeah.
Governance will look into, for example, are you following the rules? Are you following the compliance? Everything will be looked in by the governance team. Got it? Yeah. So please remember, before you start an architecture work, you need to set up an architecture board.
Correct.
Yeah. So here, if you look at that, you see the architecture board here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What all things they do, they manage you, they control you, and make decisions for you. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the job of a governance team. Now, who can be part of the governance team? Who can be part of it?
Uh, Mainly all the key stakeholders or kind of and also the architects and those are the and also the kind of the regulatory or governance team. Those are the key people to be in part of it, I think, if I understand.
Thank you. Now listen carefully. What happened normally, most of the people in an architecture board will be from the architecture organization.
That's right.
However, okay, tell me, what do you understand by stakeholder?
Stakeholders are the key people who delivers or get the benefit out of delivering a certain functionality or
Correct. Yeah. Anybody part of the project is a stakeholder, or anybody gets benefited because of the project is a stakeholder. Correct.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, if you look at that, you have different categories of stakeholder. You're the architecture organization, the project team, the client, the third-party suppliers, the consultant. All these are stakeholders. Correct.
That's right.
Please remember, architecture team, most of the time it is people from the architecture organization. However, sometimes the client will tell you, we want someone from our end to be part of the architecture board.
That's right.
Yeah. Sometimes the third party suppliers will tell you, it is good if we have someone from our group to be part of the architecture board.
That's correct. Yeah.
So it can be done. Yeah. All these people can be part, any stakeholder can be part of the architecture board. Only condition is they should be experienced and expertise. Got it? Getting it?
Yeah.
Okay. That is about the architecture board. You need to establish an architecture board before you start the architecture work.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it clear so far what all I covered so far? Is it clear with you?
Yeah, basically, I understand. I'll just try to probably recall it. So, yeah, I understood what is a enterprise, what is architecture, and what is the importance of it, and how do we, and the importance of governance, and importance of having an architectural board or a review board, which will be able to kind of guide the overall direction in which the architecture decisions has to be made. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Please remember, I will be sharing the PPT with you in a PDF format. Yeah, I will be sharing the the PDF given by the open group with you. So everything is given there. You just have to go through it.
I'll do that. Yes.
Got it? Yeah. So the PPT, what I'm covering right 9.2, it will be shared with you by Ganesh. Also, TOGAF 10 PPT, I'll be sharing in a PDF format, but only condition is please don't share with anybody because that can be a legal problem. Okay?
Yeah, I'll do that. I know.
Because I have a contract with the open group and I'm not supposed to share with everybody, right? Getting it? So please don't share with them because it costs so much of money. Got it?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so don't share with anybody, even for friends or nobody. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll be sharing all this with you. Even after you finish with the course, any help required, you can connect me through Ganesh. Yeah, and I'll be helping you with that.
Thank you.
Okay, now coming back to the PDF. Okay, now do you want a 5-minute break, a loo break, and come back?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we can have one probably after 10 minutes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay. So whenever you want a break for a coffee or a loo, let me know. I'll give you. Okay.
Yeah, we can go on.
So here we go. So architecture framework we discussed. We discussed on enterprise architecture. We discussed on governance. All this is very important. Okay, now I want to give an example for you. Now, have you heard, I don't know whether I discussed this yesterday. There's a company called Medtronics.
Yeah, I've heard of the company.
Yeah, Medtronics basically into medical equipments.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard of them before? You said yes.
I know, yeah.
So similarly, you see on the screen Medtronics?
Not yet. Yeah, I can see on the screen, yes.
Yeah, it
Mm.
is Medtronic. Now, if you look at Medtronic, it
Mm.
is the #1 medical equipment company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happened was 4 or 5 years back, Medtronic took over Covidien.
Mm.
Yeah, have you heard of Covidien?
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, Covidien is a medical equipment company based out of Ireland, and
Mm.
Medtronic is a medical equipment company based out of US.
Mm.
Yeah, so Medtronic took over Covidien. The thing is, Medtronic is a huge organization, #1 in the world.
Mm.
If you look at Covidien, again, they are multi-billion organization. It's huge.
Mm.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
Medtronic took over Covidien. My question is, what could be the challenges, right, if you take over another organization?
There is challenges at every step, starting with your culture, vision, and your systems, how it has been designed. There, kind of how you break down your organization unit, how you have put in place the infrastructure. It is at every step.
Thank you. Now, if you look at the architecture point of view,
Mm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
Medtronics has huge data.
Mm.
Yeah, if you look at Covidien, they also have huge data.
Mm.
Yeah, Medtronics have a data architecture, so is Covidien. Now,
Mm.
if you take over another organization, you have to integrate both and bring them under the same standard.
That's correct.
Yeah. Similarly, if you look at the business architecture, Medtronics has a business architecture in place. Covidien has a business architecture in place. You have to integrate that, the data, application architecture, the security architecture, the technology architecture, everything has to be integrated and put in place.
That's right.
Getting it? And it's a huge task. Now, Medtronic claims they use TOGAF for the integration work.
Mm.
Yeah. So Medtronic used TOGAF architecture framework and plus so many other frameworks, but primarily TOGAF for the integration, for the architecture work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is one example you can look into further later. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, coming back,
Mm-hmm.
Medtronic and Covidien, keep that in mind. Make a note of that if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, coming back to the PPT.
Mm.
Okay. Now, in TOGAF,
Mm.
we have something called architecture development method.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is an architecture development method? How can you develop an architecture?
Correct.
Yeah. TOGAF
Mm.
says you can use the ADM to develop the architecture, maintain an architecture, repair an architecture, and so many other ways.
Correct.
Yeah. So what you see on the screen is the ADM.
Got it.
Now, the question is it a linear process? Is it sequential process, ADM?
By looking at this, it's supposed to be, but as such, the industry is more of agile driven. It's not really a linear one anymore. It's
Correct.
kind of.
It is not a linear or sequential process. All this is given there. All the departments work independently.
Sorry. Yeah.
Getting it?
Yeah.
All the phases work independently.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, you have a team of people handling the business architecture. You have a different team working data, application, architecture, vision. Yeah. It is different people. It is not a linear process. It can be done sequentially in some ways. Also, it can be done independently.
Correct. But yeah. So looking at the this thing phases, since nowadays it's no more sequential deliveries,
Like,
and how do you kind of let's say for example when we are vision and architecture vision and business architecture and all is getting set, you need to also have some deliverables in place for
right.
a stage E or so. So how do you is there any kind of way or pattern which we can recognize and
I'll tell you.
can you drill down a little more in it here?
Sure, sure. Now, if you look at the ADM,
Mm-hmm.
For example, preliminary phase and phase A. Can I combine this preliminary and phase A? Yes, I can do that.
Correct.
Also, if you look here, it's a change management in phase H. Can I put change management here if I want? Can I do that? Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yeah, that means it is not sequential because I can make some change and agile. Also, any changes I make, can I go back and make the changes again? Yes, I can do that. It is more agile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many times the benefit of an agile is if I want to go back and make some changes and come back, is I can do that.
Correct.
Yeah. So please remember every phase in the ADM, some phases I have to do sequence. For example, I cannot change architecture vision from here. It has to be in the beginning. Yeah. Can I say architecture vision, let me put in the end? No, I cannot do that because there's the beginning part of the project. Yeah. However, some phases can be interchanged or make some changes and eliminated if required. For example, many clients will come and tell us, we have a business architecture in place. Yeah. So please don't do a new business architecture. We have an existing one. So we don't have to do this one. So what we do is what remaining we do and align with whatever the client has. Got it? Yeah. Some changes can be done. Some all the phases can work independently to each other. Getting it? Yeah. So please remember, it is not sequential. Some changes can be done. Got it?
Understood. Yeah.
Now, in TOGAF, yeah, so many things we cover in the architecture. Now, TOGAF covers 4 domains. Right? If you look at TOGAF, it covers only 4 domains. Yeah. So which are the domains covered by TOGAF? Any idea?
Data architecture. Sorry, there were 4 of it in kind of. I remember application security, some fundamental framework. So basically, I don't. Yeah, data.
Go, yeah. So these are the 4 domains covered by TOGAF. Yeah. So when we do an architecture using TOGAF, these are the 4 domains we cover. We cover business architecture, data, application, and technology. Yeah. The detailing of that, I'll tell you later. These are the 4 domains we cover. Got it? Yeah. One more thing I want to tell you. Security is covered in TOGAF. We have it. We don't have a separate domain for security. Security is covered under technology.
Okay.
Got it? Yeah. So please remember, they may ask you in the question, which are the 4 domains covered by TOGAF. You have to remember. Fine with you?
Yeah.
Now, coming to the next part, here we go. Sorry. Now, every major organization in the world say they need a good enterprise architecture. Yeah, every organization. For example, if you look at US and UK, all major organizations, they're saying that if you want to work as an architect, you have to be TOGAF certified. Getting it? Yeah. If you want to change your job, if you have a certification in TOGAF, it will take you a long way.
Yeah.
Getting it? Yeah. So here we go. Why enterprise architecture? So many benefits. If you have a good enterprise architecture, it will make you more efficient. You have better return of investment, better risk management, and so many other benefits. Okay. So many benefits. Okay. Now, I want to ask you, what is the difference between a law and a regulation? What is a law? What is a regulation?
Law is what kind of leads to regulations. Laws says that we should not do that. Regulation will tell you what we should do to kind of enforce that law.
Okay. Thank you. Now, if you have a law, let me give you a few examples. If you look at UK, there's so many different laws. Your criminal laws, your personal laws, your religious laws, your industrial laws, so many different laws, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, coming to the business part, any organization doing business in UK, they
Mm-hmm.
have to follow the law, correct?
Correct.
Can you do business in UK without following the law? No, you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, every country has India has so many laws. US has so many laws. If I'm doing business with the US, I make sure that my company follows every law.
Correct.
Getting it? Similarly, what is a regulation? What is a regulation? Okay, coming back to laws. If you look at laws in simple term, it is basically rules or instruction given to you, rules given to you, correct? It is a rule.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, what is a regulation?
Regulation is kind of how do you ensure that, how do you interpret the law or rule
Mm-hmm.
and implement it or a regulations. Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me give you an example. In UK or in India or in US, you have something called telecom regulation.
Correct.
Yeah. What is a telecom regulation? It is basically a rule or instruction to be followed by a group of people who are part of telecom.
Correct.
Getting it? So if you look at a regulation, it is specific to a department, specific to a group of people, not followed by everybody. Correct?
Mm.
Getting it? Yeah. So please remember, if you do an architecture, you have to follow the law and the regulation involved. Right? I cannot do an architecture work until I'm familiar with the laws and regulation involved. Getting it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why if you look at Lloyd's Bank, they have a legal department. Yeah. If you look at
Mm-hmm.
IBM or any organization, they have a legal department who gives consultation.
Correct.
Now, if you have to do an architecture, you have to follow the laws and the regulation. I want to give one more example. If you look at Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
right? What happens in Saudi Arabia? Anybody doing project in Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
right? One condition is there: you cannot use a cloud which is outside of Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
Getting it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not only Saudi, even Germany, Luxembourg, China, you
Mm-hmm.
cannot use a cloud which is outside of the country.
Yeah.
You get that? Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
if you breach that, you will be penalized.
Yeah, I understand.
Getting it? So what I'm trying to say, cloud can be maybe a legal requirement that everybody has to follow cloud, whatever is in that particular country, not outside.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, there could be regulations specific to the requirement of the department.
Mm-hmm.
Getting it? So what I'm trying to say, if you have to do an architecture project, you have to make sure that you follow the laws and the regulation. You cannot do without that. Fine with you?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. And here, if you look at that, some regulations and information, all this is given here, laws, Klinger-Cohen Act, it is basically the US Information Technology Act. Yeah. And your
Mm-hmm.
Sarbanes-Oxley. Have you heard of SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley?
Yeah, I have heard of socks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
SOX is basically to protect the investors. Yeah. They came out with SOX or Sarbanes-Oxley because they wanted to protect the investors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So please remember, any architecture work you do has to follow the laws and the regulation as well. Clear with you?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So what happens in TOGAF? If you are using TOGAF framework, it will take care of all these different requirements.
Got it.
Okay with you? That is the benefit of using a framework like TOGAF. It is very, very evolved one. It is well known across the globe, and they're familiar with everything in different countries.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can use it for any domains. For example, you can use it for banking or insurance or retail, any type of architecture, telecommunication.
Hmm.
Fine with you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a look at this one, the business benefits of enterprise architecture. Have a look at this one.
Yeah.
And with you now,
Yes.
you can take maybe a loo break and come back 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Fine with you? Okay.
Yeah.
So see you after that because you're short of time.
Yeah.
If you are going through the entire day, I'll give you lunch break and loo break, other things like that. However, since it's only 2.5 hours, you can take a 5 to 7 minute break. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Jack, we can continue now. I'm back.
Hello, 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 hello. Srini, can you hear
Yeah,
me? Can you hear
yes,
me?
I'm there. Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get back to the topic now. Here we go. Now, coming back to ADM, architecture development method. Now, I want to show you what all topics I'm going to cover for in TOGAF.
Okay.
Okay. So Srini, please remember all the things what we covered just now, all that we discussed, it is given here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm noticing. I'm just yeah.
Now, what all things I'm going to cover for you as per the requirement of TOGAF 10. Here we go. Have a look at this one. Now, TOGAF 10 says, yeah, you need to cover all these topics.
Yeah.
Yeah, introduction and core concept, the architecture development method, the techniques, the AD, applying the ADM, and the content framework, enterprise capability, and governance. Getting it? Yeah. So these are the topics I'm supposed to cover. Second one, there's something called series guide. Yeah. What is a series guide? Basically, for you to further work on TOGAF and the implementation, you can use series guides.
Got it. Yeah. It's
Getting
more
it?
for
So series guide will help you basically to understand TOGAF further or implement that and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a TOGAF, and let me show you the series guide. What all we are going to. Here we go. All these are the series guide. Yeah. So series guide I'll be covering maybe tomorrow or later, because too much of things I don't want to share together. Yeah. So series guides will contain business architecture, information architecture, security, and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So the standard provide guidance to address specific concerns and use cases through the series guides. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So series guides are basically for guidance and help you with the implementation and so many other ways. Okay. And the third one is something called TOGAF library.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what does the TOGAF library contain? TOGAF library contains so many, for example, templates, yeah, information, so many other things. Now, where can you find the TOGAF library? Can you see this on the screen? Yeah. TOGAF library contains pocket guides, reference architecture, white papers, all this is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the things I'll be sharing it with you, but however, TOGAF library is available on the Open Group website.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go to the Open Group website, you can look for the Open Group library that contain all the different things. Got it?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. The TOGAF library, it is basically, it can help you with maybe when you get into implementation or other things. Yeah. And for basic guidance, you can get so many documents. Yeah. So it is available in Open Group. Okay. Okay. Now, coming back to the PPT, I'm going to cover, I want to go a little fast now. I'm into architecture development method. As I told you before, 50% of your question come from architecture development method.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, it is good to understand the architecture development method in detail and then get into other topics. Now, here, if you look at that, how many faces you see on the screen? How many faces are there?
From here to head, and there's many. 1, 2, 3, 8.
Okay. 8 plus 2 phases total will be 10. Okay. So please remember, you have to remember the name of the phases, all the alphabets of the phase, everything you have to remember. Got it? Yeah. So architecture development method with all the phases. Yeah. You have to remember. Now, how many domains we cover in TOGAF? 4. Yeah. In the ADM, where do you find all the 4 domains? The first one is business architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second one is data application, that comes in C.
Yeah.
And the technology architecture D.
Correct.
Yeah. So B, C, and D, we prepare the blueprint for all the 4 domains. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and the remaining that day I told you briefly on it, I'm going to get into details of it now, right? 9.2, there are certain things we don't need. All this is not required. Okay. Okay, now here we go. Yeah. Have a look at I'm going to start with the preliminary phase. I'm going to explain all the phases. Yeah. And then I'll get into other details. Fine with you?
Yeah.
Now, first one is called preliminary phase. Yeah. What you do in a preliminary phase is you prepare for the architecture work.
Correct.
Now, imagine Bank of America comes to Srini and tells you, right, we have a project available with us. If you want, you can, come out and let's have a discussion on that. Yeah. And you finally decide you are going to do the architecture project for Bank of America. Yeah. So what happens in the preliminary phase? Preparing for the architecture work. Yeah. One more thing, please remember, client can be internal or external.
Correct.
Yeah. Your project can be maybe internal project or external. TOGAF process remains the same. Okay. Now, preliminary phase, you prepare for the architecture work. So what all we do in the preliminary phase? One, understanding the business environment of the client. Yeah. Now, please remember, your clients can be maybe a banking client or insurance client, telecommunication client or retail client, IT client. It can be any type of client.
Yeah, I understand.
You have to understand the business environment of the client for you to do the architecture work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second one, high level management commitment. Okay. For you to do the project, yeah, you need to have the approval of your manager, your line managers, and the other senior people, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Third one, agreement on the scope. Tell me, what do you understand by scope?
Scope is the area where your actual activity can make the, it's a more focused area, which is expected to be addressed or kind of focused on as part of this project or a product. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Now, if you look at the scope will basically tell you, right, what all things I'm supposed to cover. Yeah, a scope will tell you, right, what is covered within the architecture, what is outside of that, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So TOGAF tells me a few things about scope. Have a look at this one. Yeah. About the scope, have a look at this one. Here is it. Can you see this on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scoping the architecture work. Now, depending on the requirement of the client, you have to detail out the scope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, scoping as per TOGAF, there are 4 things I have to consider. The first one is called breadth.
Okay.
Yeah. What is a breadth? Basically, for example, if I'm doing an architecture for Bank of America, what all things I'm going to consider? Is it a single module for a bank? Is it for a branch in New York? Is it for all the branches across the globe or all the branches in the US? What exactly I'm going to do? Yeah. So breadth will basically tell me what is the full extent of the enterprise I'm going to work on.
Okay.
With you. Second one, the depth. Every client requirement is different, and the depth of the architecture varies from client to client. Yeah, so the depth will vary with client. So second one, what is the level of detail I'm supposed to work in an architecture? It is the depth. Got it? Yeah. And the third one is time period for the architecture work. And the fourth one, once I decide on the breadth, depth, and time, I have to decide on the domains. Yeah. Which are the domains I'm going to work on? Getting it? Yeah. So is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Coming back to the PPT, the first one in the preliminary phase, what I do is agreement on the scope.
Yeah.
I have a question here. Is it the final scope, by the way? Agree on the scope in the preliminary phase. By any chance, is it the final scope?
May not be. It will be kind of varying a little bit, not to the major extent.
Right. Because it is not the final scope. Please remember, the scope is finalized in phase A.
Yeah.
Getting it? So please remember, if they ask you a question, which phase do you finalize or detail out the scope? It is phase A.
Okay.
Getting it? Preliminary phase.
Yeah, it's in the phase A. Okay.
Phase A. Preliminary phase, you just agree on the scope, whatever the client has given.
Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fourth one, establish the principles. Tell me, what do you understand by principle?
Principle is basics concepts which you can extrapolate later or extend later. Principle is the basic things which we all agree on and which can be extended further.
Thank you. Now, let me ask you a question. Principles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, every day, do you get up early morning every day?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Okay, let's take an example like that. Now, every day you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And that is a principle you follow in life. Yeah. Now, what is the benefit of getting up early in the morning, following the principle? It is a principle. So many people, they get up early morning. That's a principle they follow. What is the benefit of that?
You have a little more extra time.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, it will be much more silent, calmer, and you can easily get more things done.
Thank you. Now, if you get up early, if you follow the principle, you get so many benefits. You can do more work in a day, get more time to do things. That will make you more efficient, active, and so many other things, correct? Yeah, that is the benefit if you get up early morning. So many benefits for that. Now, similarly, in TOGAF, if you do an architecture, right, you cannot do it just by like that. You have to follow certain principles. Getting it? Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, what exactly you mean by principles in TOGAF? What does it say? Principles are general rules and guidelines, correct? Yeah. Give me one moment, please. Have a look at that. Can you just go through it, please? I'll tell you after that. Yeah. Sorry for that. Now, if you look at the principles, it is a rule or a guideline. Very good. So what happens is, if you do an architecture, you have to follow certain rules and guidelines. Okay. Now what happens is, in TOGAF has given us so many guidelines, so many rules. Yeah, how do they do that? Using the principles. Yeah, TOGAF has given us so many principles which I can use to deliver the architecture work. Are you getting it? Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I was in mute here.
Thank you. Okay, so principles are there. Now, in TOGAF, we have so many principles given by the open group. It is there in the PDF. All these principles I can use for the project. Right? So what happens is, every project I take, I have to decide as a team which are the principles I'm going to use. For example, data security. Yeah, data security is a principles I'm going to use for the project. So I have to decide on that. So likewise, so many principles are there.
Yeah.
Getting it? Now, if you look at the principles, it is categorized into two. Right? The first one is called enterprise principles. Yeah, enterprise principles are basically business principles.
Yeah.
Getting it? Second one is called architecture principles.
Yeah.
Yeah, architecture principles are basically for data application and technology.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so two categories of principle. The first one is business principle. The second one is data application and technology.
Yeah.
Getting it? Now, I have a question here. Imagine if you're not happy with the principles given by the open group, what will you do?
We have to see what's the principle which suits better for the organization.
Okay, so you can either maybe make some changes to it, you can customize, or you can make your own principles.
Okay.
Getting it? How do you do that? For example, if you look at a team, architecture team, the chief architect and the other member, you sit together and decide which are the principles I'm going to use for the project.
Okay.
Getting it? Second one, if you can see this on there's something called components of architecture principles.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are the components of architecture principles? Every principle you choose will have a name.
Yeah.
Every principle will have a statement. Every principle will have a rationale why you're doing it, and implication. If I use it, what is the implication?
Yeah.
Yeah. So every principle will have name, statement, rationale, and implications. Got it? Now, let me give you examples of few principles here. Also, please remember, every principle has to be understandable, right? Every principle has to be robust, complete, right? Consistent and stable.
Correct.
Okay, now, here we go. Okay, some example of architecture principles are here. Yeah, your business principles, right? Some example of business principles, right? All this, what you see on the screen, is business principle.
Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, your data principle, application principle, technology principle, so many other.
Okay.
Getting it? So when you go back home, make sure that you go through all of it.
Okay.
Fine. Now, the thing is, the question, do I need to by heart all this? No. You don't have to by heart all this. You should know basic things about principle. You don't have to by heart, because level 2, when they ask you this question, you can go to the PDF and check.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Level 1, they will ask you very basic questions about principles. Got it?
Okay.
When you, Yeah. Now, are you clear on the principles of TOGAF?
Yeah, but probably I need to go through that in detail.
That
Yeah,
is
but
correct.
I do have an idea of it, but I have to go through in detail.
Correct. Okay. Now, please remember, when you go attend a training like TOGAF, it will give you a basic idea on that. And then you have to go through it, do the homework, go through all the detail. You'll be thorough with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the preliminary phase, you have to establish the principles for the project. Yeah. Next one. What is the next one given here?
Request for architectural work.
Very good. Yeah. What is a request for architecture work?
Yeah, basically, kind of we have to request and get a clarification what need to be done, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Let me clarify it for you. Request for architecture work. It is given by who sends you the request for work?
Generally, the senior management, CTO, CIO.
No. Who? It is the client.
Yeah, it's a customer. Yeah, client.
Yeah, they will send you the request for architecture work. Now, what does the request for architecture work contain? It contains basic details about what is the architecture work I'm supposed to do, or what is the requirement of the client. Got it? Yeah. So request for work, architecture work, it is sent by the client, or they call it a sponsor, to the architecture organization. Fine with you? Let me open that for you. There's a template. We look into that. Can you see the template on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I've shared the template with you already, right? So let's have a look at the request for architecture work. Here we go. Yeah. So if you look at that, what is a request for architecture work? What exactly is it? It is sent by whom? Can you read this one? What is given here?
The architecture work is a document that is sent from the sponsor organization to the architecture organization to trigger the start of an architecture development cycle. Request for architecture work can be created as an output for a preliminary phase.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, request for architecture work is sent by whom? By the sponsor organization to the architecture organization. Yeah. Who is the sponsoring organization?
It would be the client.
Client. Yeah. What do you mean by sponsor? Sponsor is someone who funds the project.
Correct.
Yeah. So it is the client, for example, Bank of America sending it to you.
Correct.
Agree with you now. Request for work. What are the details of the request for architecture work? Here we go. Yeah. Request for architecture work contain all the detail, organization, sponsor, the mission statement, the business goal, strategic plan, everything will be there. Getting it? Yeah. These are the details of the request for architecture work.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is it clear with you?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I'll be sharing the template with you to make sure that you go through it. Okay. What is the next one? What is the next one?
Establishing governance standard structure.
Yeah. Preliminary phase, you have to establish the governance structure. Okay.
Yeah.
Two things here I want to tell you. One, many organizations have an existing governance structure in place.
Correct.
Then, can you use that for the architecture work?
Yeah. Generally, it would be extended to the newer work as well. Yeah.
Okay. If you look at Lloyd's Bank, they have a governance team in place. Now, please remember the governance in a bank, there'll be some differences in an architecture.
Correct.
Yeah. So what we recommend is, if you have an existing team, please make some changes according to the requirement of the open group to use it for the architecture work.
Okay. So could you kind of repeat or elaborate it?
Sure. Now, please remember there are different categories of governance.
Correct.
Yeah, your corporate governance. Can a corporate governance person do the architecture governance?
No.
Yeah, it will be tough. It will be a challenge, right? There will be corporate governance, there are IT governance, there are different categories of governance. There are architecture governance. So what we are looking for is architecture governance. So what TOGAF says is, it is good if you establish an architecture governance team.
Correct.
Yeah, however, so many organizations don't want to waste that money, and they say that we have an existing governance team in the organization. Can we use that? You can use it provided you make some changes and make sure that you have the right people there.
Yeah, I understand.
Got it? Yeah. So establishing the governance team is basically done in the preliminary phase. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the next one?
Architecture team.
Okay. One more thing I want to tell you. It is not given in sequence.
Correct.
Yeah, all that we are covering right now, it is not sequential. We are just, what all we do in preliminary phase, it is not in sequence.
Agree.
Next one, architecture team. Tell me, for you to do an architecture, who are the people you may look for?
The kind of enterprise architects, security architects, data architect, all these people who will be coming together to kind of deliver a particular service or product here.
Okay.
And a business team
Okay.
who sponsored it to kind of, or a product team.
Okay.
And kind of a technical leads to kind of
Thank you. Now, if you look at that, architecture team may contain, for example, the chief architect, the domain architect, the solution architect, the security. All these architects will be part of it.
Correct.
Getting it? Yeah. You have to form a team who will take care of the requirements of the client. You need all categories of people, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So establish the governance structure. You do that in the preliminary phase. Okay. They may ask you this question. Where do you establish the governance? It is preliminary.
Okay.
Next one is, okay, architecture team we discussed already. Next one, customization of TOGAF. Please remember, TOGAF has been customized depending on the requirement of the client.
Correct.
Every client has different requirements. Now, there are 3 types of customization we do. We do, terminology customization, ADM customization, and a 3rd type of customization called content customization. Yeah. Okay. So 3 customization we do, which I'll be covering in level 2. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So customization details will be covered for in level 2. But please remember, there are 3 types of customization: the terminology, content, and the ADM.
3 times, correct? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It is given in the PDF.
Okay.
Fine with you now. Next one. Do you know any tools for architecture?
Yeah. Archimac, all those things, yes.
Okay. So many tools are there. For example, like it's called Archimate, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Archimate, I'm typing it there. Yeah. Abacus. This. Yeah. So many are there. Yeah. Now, hundreds of tools are there. Today, when you go back home, look for the tools in architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure that you look for the tools. So many tools are there. Now, depending on the requirement of the project, you will sit together and decide on the tools. Getting it? Yeah. All the tools I'm going to use for that. Getting it? Yeah. One more is that is not given here. Yeah. There's something called, let me open it for you. One moment. Okay. Something called architecture definition document. You know what's an architecture definition document is?
Not exactly to the. I understand kind of what should be probably a good idea to kind of have a look.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you what is the architecture definition document. Now, listen carefully. What happens is there's something called architecture definition document. Yeah. What does it contain? Can you see this on the screen? Can you see that on the screen?
Yeah.
What is the architecture definition document? It is basically a deliverable container for the core architecture artifacts. Means architecture definition document, or sometimes they call it ADD, is basically, it is a container or a folder containing core artifacts. Yeah. What is an artifact, by the way?
Artifact is a document which is kind of prepared as part of a process to kind of help the design, development, and delivery. The documentation basically. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Artifact is basically, it can be catalog, matrices, or diagrams. Getting it? Anything relating to matrices or diagrams, or even a, what is the third one? Artifact can be catalogs. Catalog, matrices, or diagrams. Yeah. Now, have a look at this one. Architecture definition document. If you can see this on the screen.
Yeah.
It provides a qualitative view of the solution and aims to communicate the intent of the architects. Correct? Now, similar to this document, there's another document called requirement specification, which basically speaks about the requirements. Now, architecture definition document, keep this in mind. It is a folder or a container for the core architecture artifacts. Got it? Yeah. What are the artifacts that will be part of it? It could have a look at it says the content here, right? Any artifact relating to scope, any diagram relating to goals, objective, constraint, principle. It could be anything. Getting it? Yeah. For example, use case diagram, network diagram, or a catalog. All this could be part of it. Got it? Right with you. Now, the question is, where do you create the architecture definition document? Where do you create?
It's part of our vision.
Okay, you're right. Please remember, architecture definition document is created in phase A, phase B, phase C, and phase D. All these phases you create architecture definition document, not in the preliminary phase. Okay, I just told you in the beginning, but please remember, architecture definition document is created in A, B, C, and D. After that, you consolidate everything in phase C, and then you keep on updating it. Got it? Yeah. So did you understand what is an architecture definition document is? Yeah. Where do you create it first? In architecture vision you create, then phase B you create, then C you create, then D you create. Then what you do? You consolidate it here, and then you keep on updating it.
Yeah.
Clear with you? Yeah. Preliminary phase is clear with you. Any doubt here?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Even if you have a doubt later, please get back to me, no problem.
And because you saying about tools here, correct? So you Archimat, all those things. What is the difference between each of them, and how do we understand which one fits better?
Okay, well, the team you sit together, depending on the project, yeah, you have to decide on that. Yeah, for example, if I'm doing a banking project, one of the tools I can use could be Archimate. Yeah, so similarly.
Yeah, but why not
Well, if you look at the banking architecture, so many specifications are there, so many detailing is there. So this tool is more suitable. Having said that, that is not the case. So many tools are there which I can use. Yeah. So depending on the suitability, is it available in your organization? Based on that, you make a decision.
Yeah, but okay. I think more.
You can go through it. Yeah. Tool detailing, I may not be able to give it tool detailing, but I'll share with you what is Archimate. Archimate is recommended by the open group, and there are so many other tools. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do I use particular tool? You have to decide, sit as a team and decide which tool you're going to use.
No, I understand. But how do you decide what one? That's what I was trying
Yeah.
to understand.
Based on the scale, right? Based on the domains you're going to cover, and all these factors you decide on.
All right.
Getting it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go through the tool actually. Okay. And some more, you can find out tomorrow. Yeah. So there are so many tools available in the market. Yeah. And the well-known tool or best software, so many other. Fine with you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, next one is architecture vision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you look at the architecture vision, what exactly you think is architecture vision?
It's a kind of a long-term view, how the enterprise architecture should look.
Okay. Before I forget, I want to tell you one more tool, which is a very common one, Sparks. Have you heard of that? Sparks?
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard of that? Okay.
Yeah.
Spark system. What exactly is that?
It's a tool used for Apache Spark you're talking about?
No. Spark System Enterprise Architect.
No.
SPRX. Yeah. You haven't heard of that? Yeah. Make sure that you go through it. Now, let me give a simple thing. If you look at Sparks, you can, this is also a very common tool. Yeah. It supports modeling, design, construction, testing, deployment, and so many other things. That's why they use it. Similarly, if you look at Archimate, it has so many benefits, so many things I can do, including modeling and so many other things. Yeah. And Sparks, if you look at that, support TOGAF and Zachman framework. Yeah. Similarly, Archimate support TOGAF and Zachman and so many other frameworks. Yeah. So please remember, every tool may not support TOGAF.
Understood.
Getting it? Yeah. And depending on that, you choose on the thing. Yeah. Even in cloud, why I mentioned Sparks is, even in case of cloud, we use Sparks.
Yeah.
Getting it? Yeah. So you can go through that depending on all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next one, phase A. Okay. So preliminary phase, what you do? You prepare for the architecture work. Correct. Now tell me, what all things you do in the preliminary phase, if you remember, what all you do?
In preliminary, you kind of define the sets of scope and the governance team.
No. You don't define. You agree on the scope. Defining and detailing happens in phase A.
Oh yeah. You kind of agree on the scope and set the governance and the team, and also the probably the tooling required to kind of deliver them.
Okay. And what a few other things we do. Yeah. You decide on the team.
Correct.
Yeah. You decide on the principles.
Oh yeah, principles.
Yeah. You customize TOGAF.
Yeah, customize TOGAF principles.
Getting it? Yeah. All these tools. Yeah. So all these things you do in the preliminary phase. Agree with you?
Yeah. So will the question come that what will be part of a preliminary in the exams?
Yeah, they will ask you 100%. You will surely get maybe 2 questions or 3 questions from here.
Oh, okay.
Getting it? What all I covered for you right now. Till now, what I covered in the class, it covers around 4 questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. If you listen to all this, what I told you in the class, you will get questions that you will be easily able to answer.
Okay.
Getting it? Yeah. Because I know what all questions they normally ask.
Okay.
Yeah. So what all I speak will be based on that so that my students are prepared. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this is the preliminary phase, what we do. Also, please don't forget, you get a request for architecture work in the preliminary phase.
Correct.
Okay.
Mm.
Establish the governor, everything. Now, phase A, if you look at that, can I have your attention? Phase A, if you look at the first thing, you set the scope.
Mm.
Yeah. You detail the scope and you finalize it in phase A.
Got it.
Second one, what is a constraint? What do you mean by constraint?
Considering limitations or challenges, what we have.
Very good. It is any limitations of the client.
Mm.
Now, the question I want to ask you, why is it important to know the constraints of the client?
That can, we have to work within a certain boundaries or certain challenges, what we have in the bound, which can't be, which has to be considered as part of a solution design.
Correct. Can you give an example of a constraint?
Okay, yeah. We, let's say in a banking industry, we have to adhere to the GDPR constraints.
Correct.
Or guide. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Anything, it could be budget constraint, infrastructure, technical, anything. Because if my client has a limitation, I cannot do a project, without considering the limitations of the client. If I do that, I may not be able to work on the project.
Correct.
Third one, expectations of the client. Every client comes to you with expectation. Yeah, it could be maybe expectation because of the project, could be financial or any other business or anything. Getting it? Next one, required at the start of every architecture cycle. Yes, all this we do in the beginning of the cycle. Next one, create the architecture vision. Now, what is an architecture vision basically means?
That's a kind of a overall bigger vision or for the enterprise architecture or architectural team.
Thank you.
Which they want to kind of collectively adhere to, collectively achieve.
Okay. Can you see this on the screen, the architecture vision? Can you see that on the screen?
Yes, yes.
Now, I'm going to tell you what is an architecture vision. Now, have a look at this. The purpose of architecture vision, you see that on the screen, is basically, it is created basically to have a high level aspirational view of the end architecture product. Yeah. Architecture vision is basically, aspirational or the target architecture project which I have in mind.
Got it, yeah.
Getting it? So what we do in TOGAF is in phase A, you create something called architecture vision document. Fine with you? Purpose of the vision is to agree at the outside what the desired outcome should be for the architecture. Fine with you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the purpose of a vision. Now, you create a document called architecture vision. Now, the third one, what is the architecture vision content? Yeah, it will contain the problem description of the client, the stakeholder, the list of issues, the detailed objective, the human actors, the computer actor, the requirement of the client, the process steps, right? Constraints, the architecture supporting the process, all this will be part of it.
Okay.
Got it?
I'm trying to understand. Is there any kind of a real-time example which I can see for this? Any documentation which is more done for any specific organization?
Architecture vision. So on the website, if you go to Google and check case studies of TOGAF case studies, so many, I think around 10 case studies are given. Check on the case studies, you will find it.
Okay.
Can I get it? Yeah. Because many of the clients, they may not provide you all this data because of security concerns. or the policies of the organization.
Okay.
Getting it? Some information, some details are given there in the case studies. So go to Google and search for TOGAF case studies. You'll find it. So many case studies are given, international case studies. One of it somewhere you'll find the data. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is the architecture vision. Now, coming back to the PPT, here we go. You create an architecture vision document. Are you clear on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does the architecture vision speak about? What does it speak about?
The vision, architectural, what is it? Expected, what do you call, not expected?
Expected aspirational view of the
Aspiration.
architecture. Got
Correct.
it?
Aspiration, yeah.
Yeah. Also, it will contain the baseline architecture, the current architecture of the client, the target architecture of the client. All this will be part of it. Got it?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Please remember, architecture vision document is specific to the architecture. Got it?
Yeah.
Next one. Okay, next one. Validate the business context. What validation do you carry out here is, when you do an architecture project, you have to make sure that whatever you do is according to the requirement of the client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to validate and confirm whatever is given by the client to make sure that what you are doing is on the right track.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Finally, if you look at the something called statement of architecture work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is a statement of architecture work? Any idea?
Probably a couple of lines which defines what is expected out of this architecture review architectural work.
Okay. Thank you so much. I have a question for you. Did we sign a contract with the client till now?
No.
We haven't signed a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you do a project without a right contract?
No.
We cannot.
Okay.
But in TOGAF, preliminary phase, you don't sign a contract. We sign a contract in phase A.
Okay.
Got it? Yeah. It is called statement of architecture work.
Okay.
Getting in? Yeah. What are the contents of the statement of architecture work? Let's have a look at that. Here we go. Before that, what does the statement of architecture work purpose? What does it say? Yeah. If you look at the purpose, what does it say? Statement of architecture work basically define the scope and the approach for the project.
Yes, scope and okay. Yeah.
Second one, statement of architecture work is typically a document against which successful execution of the architecture project will be measured.
Okay. So against the statement of work, architecture work, the success would be measured. Okay.
Yeah. And it is a contract agreement between the supplier and the consumer.
Okay.
See that? It is a contractual agreement between whom? Between the supplier and the consumer. Got it?
Okay. Sponsors and the consumer. This thing. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. In this case, we use the words consumer because consumer is the client as a whole.
Yeah.
Got it? Yeah. Sponsor, if I use the word sponsor, it can even be a person.
Agree.
Got it? Yeah. So this is the statement of architecture. Now, please remember, now, preliminary phase, you get a document called preliminary phase. What document do you get?
At preliminary stage, actually, you have a broader agreed scope.
No.
And what is it? Request for
architecture work. Very good. Yeah. So preliminary phase, you get a request for architecture work. In response to that, you create a statement of architecture work in phase A, and it is a contract.
Yeah.
Got it? It is in response to request for work in the preliminary phase.
Correct.
Got it? What is the content of statement of architecture work? It is a contract. It contains all the details of the project. Statement of work title, project request, project description, manager approach, scope, responsibilities, acceptance criteria and procedures, project plan, schedule of the project. All this will be part of it. Also, it has to be signed by the client.
Yeah.
Got it?
And is this all generally followed in the organizations generally whenever they adopt TOGAF, or it's all on kind of they can bypass certain steps and combine couple of steps, all those things. And
That can be done. However, if you look at statement of work, normally TOGAF, they give the template.
correct.
And the client can populate it and send it back. It's a huge one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Many
they
clients.
have given you the templates for everything.
Correct. Yes. Sometimes the client will say, we don't want your template. We have our own detailing. They will share that request for work. But for statement of work, normally we send this one. It is a response to request for work. We send it all to the client with the details and statement of work, and they will, sign it and send it back to us.
Okay.
Got it? And we share a copy with the client.
Got it. Okay.
Clear with you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So which phase do you sign the statement of work?
In the vision, architectural vision.
Architecture vision. It is also called phase A. Now, please remember in the question paper, they will ask you either phase A or architecture vision. You should know more, both. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Now, are you clear on architecture vision?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many documents you generate in architecture vision?
Basically, I think two. One is architectural visual document, another one is the statement of work, and the scope. Three, the statement of work as well, where they get.
Architecture vision document and the statement of architecture. These are the two documents. Plus, there's something called architecture definition document, which I mentioned some time back. Correct?
Yes, architectural definition document. Okay.
Yeah. Definition document we create in phase A, phase B, phase C, and phase D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we update it, and then we keep on updating it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine with you? So
Yeah.
please remember, preliminary phase you prepare for the architecture. Phase A, you confirm the architecture and sign the contract.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, statement of work is the contract you sign with the client. Now, does this contract give you permission to implement the architecture work?
No, just to start the work actually. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Statement of work is only to start the architecture work, doesn't give you permission to implement. For you to implement the architect, you have to sign a different contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it? Okay. So preliminary phase and phase A, I believe you got a basic idea. Next one, how much more time do you have?
Probably another 10 minutes actually, probably. After
Okay.
that, I have to jump into one call. After 11 o'clock, I'll be free, I believe.
Okay. So I believe Ganesh is creating a, chat, WhatsApp group for us. Yeah. So whenever you are free, let me know. I have to know before time. For example, next one, what is the time there right now?
It's 8:30.
8:30. Okay. Maybe after you finish with your office, you're free at night. Send a message maybe 1 hour before it's when you're free. I'll be prepared. Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. So I believe Ganesh is creating a TOGAF, WhatsApp group. So send message in that you're free at so and so time. I'll reply back immediately. Okay.
Sounds good. And in the meantime, can you share this actually? Because
Ganesh would
while
have shared
having
it
a
all.
meeting and all, if I don't have much commitment or this thing, I'll go through this.
You can go through that. And please remember two things here. There are two documents I'm going to share. Today I'm going to share 9.2 and TOGAF 10 I'm going to share only tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, because I want to make some changes to it. Also, there are two documents, 9.2 PDF you have, and TOGAF 10, there's another PDF called C220.
Okay.
That I'll be sharing today. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. PDF of both 9.2 I already shared with Ganesh. He'll be sharing it with you. PDF of TOGAF 10 also I'll be sharing in some time. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
The PPT of TOGAF 10 only have to make some changes because of some constraint. So I'll do that and share later. Fine with you?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So next one, phase B.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take one other 10 minutes. I'll be done. Okay. Or maybe 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you understand by business architecture?
Business architecture is the representation of how the actual business works and what are the components or what are the departments and what is the expectation of those specific departments. So
Very
it's
good.
more of a business representation.
Very good. You're right. Perfect. Yeah. So if you look at a business architecture, it is a holistic representation of your business capabilities, your value delivery, your information, your organization structure, your departments, your policies, everything will be part of it. Getting it? Yeah. Have a look at the fundamental organization of business embodied in the business process, people, relationship, principle. All this will be part of it. Got it? Yeah. So please remember the business architecture may contain the organization structure, the goal, the services, the process, the roles and responsibilities. All this will be part of it. Yeah. It is basically about the organization. Yeah. Can you go through? Can you see this on the screen? Can you see this on the screen? Yeah. Srini, I can't hear you. Srini.
Oh, sorry. I was reading it, all of them. In fact, actually, business
Yeah.
architecture. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is there. I can read it. Go
Yeah.
through it.
So when I say business architecture, I am basically talking of, for example, if I do a business architecture for Lloyd's Bank, tell me what all will be part of it.
It will be part of how the organization structure is and what is the goals and objective of each different kind of substructures and what is the function and what do they expected to deliver and the
Correct.
kind of process what they follow, the
Correct.
roles and responsibilities of each one, and what will be the data model what they have to kind of follow. All those things is part of business architecture.
Correct. Yeah. So everything about your organization is the business architecture. Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So phase B, what we do is you prepare the business architecture blueprint.
Correct.
Getting it? So here it's only the blueprint, not the implementation. Remember that.
Yeah,
B, C,
but
and D, you create the blueprint. Got it?
yeah. But business architecture is generally developed by the business analyst team, or will we be
We
actively
have
doing?
we have a business architecture team.
Okay.
Yeah, we
And
have a business architecture team everywhere. It will be people basically. Of course, the analyst also will be part of it. Of course, however, we have a business architecture team, like a solution architect or a data architect. We have a business architecture team.
okay.
Got it? Yeah. So business architecture steps. Here we go. Have a look at the steps here. Yeah. I believe your time is up.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me know when you're free next and we'll take it from here. Okay.
I'll do that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And Ganesh will be sharing all this with you. You can just go through that. Fine with
Yeah.
you?
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. He'll be sharing 2 mails, one TOGAF 9.2, second one will be TOGAF 10. Yeah. One more thing, as I told you, I won't be sharing the PPT of TOGAF 10 today because of some changes. I'll be sharing it tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. See you and make sure that you send a message when you're free. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.